Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We will also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is episode 123 and day 123 of my journey. At the beginning of this year, I challenged myself to run 365 days out of the year, all outside, burying the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,250 miles within that time frame. Now, this is my second year ever fully running. Within the first full year in 2020, I was able to run 1,001 miles, and I did that in 175 days of running. So this will be a 25% step up in the amount of miles I'll be attempting, as well as a 100% step up in the amount of days I'll be out there running. So like I said, today was day 123. It is May 3rd. Today was a little rainy, a little drizzly, a little wet. Actually not too chilly. It was still a little hot, a little humid, 63 degrees out. Wore this and some shorts, but was sweating profusely. Got out there and I pumped out 3.6 for the day, day 123. Last week, I pumped out the most miles I have ever pumped out in a week. It was 45.8 miles was the most I've ever pumped out in a week, guys. It was awesome. And earlier within that week, I pumped out the most miles I've ever pumped out. I finished pumping out the most miles I've ever pumped out inside of a month, which was 150 point. I don't even know. 150 point something. So doesn't have the exact point on here. I can't figure it out right now. I'm not gonna go through it. So it was awesome, guys, to get two personal PRs. I was really stoked about that and did it within the same week. Now, like I said, today I got out there and just pumped out 3.6. Try to keep it nice and simple. Ended the last week on a high note with 10 miles out on the trail. So today I wanted to keep it nice. Just got out there, it was a little wet. Got 3.6 in, decent pace. That actually put me at 3.6 miles for the week. It is the beginning of the week. I try to average at least 33 miles per week, but the bare minimum that I have to always get is I don't do anything less than 25 miles a week. That is the goal. So I am 29.3 miles away from the average of 33 miles. And other than that, for the monthly miles, the month of May, we are sitting at 17.2 miles. And every single month we do a 100-mile challenge, guys. When we do it in honor of different charities, that usually kind of reflect within that month. So in January, we were able to raise money for the American Cancer Society. In February, we raised money for the Detroit Black Community Food Security Network. In March, we raised money for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. In April, we raised money for Autism Speaks. And now we are sitting here in May, guys. And we are currently raising money for To Write Love on Her Arms. And we are doing that because the month of May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month, guys. And before we talk about the fundraiser, I do want to talk about just mental health awareness and just mental health in general and substance abuse and all of that kind of stuff. So first off, if you are someone who is going through substance abuse or mental health awareness and needs some help, there is a national hotline you guys can call. It is going to be 1-800-662-HELP. Or just full numbers, it'll be 1-800-662-4357. You guys can call them. It is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. They're there 24 hours of operation, 365 days. You can call them if you're looking for any kind of help, as well as if you know anyone that you know personally that you could talk to, that is also a good thing. Don't be afraid to reach out. And if you are someone who someone is reaching out to, don't turn them down. Everyone needs help sometimes, and sometimes all they need is someone to listen to or someone to help them. so if it's someone you know, especially, and be there to help them. Mental health is a real thing, and especially nowadays with how locked up and anxious and how everyone has been lately. Mental health is a real killer. So let's try to be as aware as possible and um, really help out any way we can. So, like I said, this month's fundraiser is for To Write Love on Her Arms, guys. And if you are curious on what they do, they are a nonprofit movement, and they're dedicated to presenting hope and finding help for people struggling with depression, addiction, and self-injury and suicide. They're a 24-hour helpline as well. So I gave you the helpline for the substance abuse and mental health helpline. Well, these guys are also a helpline. So you can also contact them. But they also refer you to also contact 911. But if you are having a mental health issue or someone need to contact someone, you can also call the number 1-800-SUICIDE, which is 1-800-784-2433. So other than that, that is what the May fundraiser is for. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we are doing it in honor of that, and we are raising money for To Write Love on Her Arms. They are also doing at the end of this month, May 29th, if you wanted to sign up for it with them, which I also might do, even though I already donated money to this fundraiser. I might pay more money to donate to run as well, but they're doing a To Write Love on Her Arms run for it 5K. That's going to be May 29th to 2021. So it's this month, the end of the month. They're doing a 5K. You get a shirt and all that stuff. I might sign up for that as well. But if you guys would like to donate to this month's fundraiser, you guys can find it on the Defining Discipline Instagram and Facebook stories, as well as my personal pages, Instagram and Facebook stories. You'll find a little link within it up at the top of the page. It'll say donate on Facebook. You click on it. It'll open up the Facebook page where you can make your donations. All donations that get made through this go directly to this fundraiser. I get 0%. Facebook gets 0%. That's why I continue to do it with Facebook, is because they're taking no cut of the donations. So whatever donations you guys can give, it's very well appreciated. $5, $100, whatever. It doesn't matter. It goes to the right place, and it really helps out. But I know times are tough. It could be tough on you mentally, like we were just talking about, or it could be tough on you mentally and even financially. So if you can't really afford to donate, but you still want to help out and help out a good cause, the best thing you could do is just help raise awareness for this movement and for this fundraiser and charity. So please just share this fundraiser so other people on your page will be able to see it that aren't following me or following the Defining Discipline page. That's all we can ask, is just to keep spreading awareness, keep spreading the fundraisers. That's the littlest you guys could do to help out. If you can donate money, that's great. I'm going to continue to get out there, pump out the miles for these fundraisers, as well as continue to get out there and donate myself. So let's raise awareness and let's just keep grinding out and pumping out some money, guys, and miles. That's what I'm going to do. So like I said, that is 17.2 miles for the month now. And other than that, that has me sitting at 532.5 miles officially for the year, guys. We are cranking out these miles, feeling real good. We are 111.3 miles ahead of my plan. I've talked about it before. The yearly goal is 1250, but once we get closer, maybe here in July, August, maybe even October, when we're pushing the marathon day, closer to the marathon days, that I'll be running in October. When we get closer to that, I might push the yearly mileage up to 1,500 instead of 1,250, because by that time I already might be at 1,250. We'll see. Don't want to get too excited about it or talk about it right now. We're just going to stick with what we got and keep putting out the miles. But I guess I did want to mention, since I just kind of threw it in there, I am doing my first ever official 50K race here in June, so I will be starting my taper here in the middle of May to get ready for that race. So I'll be pumping out these miles these next 2 weeks pretty heavy, and then kind of just going down from there. Really looking forward to that race. And then I will also be racing and running in the Detroit Free Press International Marathon that starts in Detroit. You run over the Ambassador Bridge into Windsor, Canada, and you run back under the river and through the Detroit Windsor Tunnel. And it's 26.3 miles or 1 mile or 2 miles. I can't even think offhand, guys. I'm just out of it right now. So I'm really looking forward to that race. 26.2. I'm pretty sure that's what. Yeah, 26.2. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. So 26.2 miles. Really looking forward to that. Stoked about it, and that is coming up in October. I think the biggest challenges, though, throughout this whole challenge of me running every day and everything, are going to be the days after these races. These races, yes, they are going to be hard, and I not downplaying those at all. It's going to be definitely a challenge for me to get out there and pump out the 30 miles, and for me to get out there and pump out the 26 miles and feel good about it, good pace and all that stuff. But I think the bigger challenge for me is to get out there the next day and continue to run at least a mile to a mile and a half. Get out there if I have to, a fast walk pace or whatever. I don't know, but I think that's my biggest challenge that I'm most worried about coming up within these days and these races. So yeah, other than that, we've talked about it. We got miles for the day, week, month, year. Day 3.6, week 3.6, month 17.2, year 532.5. Now let's get in today's episode. Let's talk about it. Today is episode 1, 2, 3, and today's theme is going to be A, B, C's. Yeah, that's not a joke. Seriously, 1, 2, 3. Episode 123 is going to be ABCs. Yes, I did that on purpose. We're playing with it, and what we're going to talk about is what we're going to talk about is the ABCs and just your numbers. You know how to count 1 through probably 100 or 1 through. You could probably just continue to count and count and count and count and count until you can't count anymore. It's a basic skill, but remember the ABCs and counting, no matter how simple they may seem to us now and how second nature, we can just get into it and just go A, B, C. We even made songs out of it and ways to remember it and all that case, but we know our ABCs, no matter how simple they may be. One, you can always make them more challenging where it's super hard. For instance, say your ABCs backwards, or count backwards, or counting multiples of 2, or counting multiples of 3. There's different ways to challenge it, or just even naming, hey, what is the 15th letter of the alphabet? What's the 20th letter? What's the 23rd letter? What is, just throwing out these numbers. It makes you have to kind of have to think, and it's not just as easy as you want it to be. And that is how kind of everything within life is. And maybe you know this, maybe you don't think of it on that aspect, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is just how everything can eventually become second nature, but even sometimes those second nature things have a deeper understanding that you can get into with them, as well as they weren't always second nature. Let's talk about in that aspect, the ABCs and your 1 2 3s. No matter how simple they seem to you now, at one point in time, yes, you may have been a child and it was hard to understand because you're just learning, but you didn't understand. There was a point in time where the simplest thing you couldn't understand, and it took time and practice and effort. So that's something that you can reflect on in any part of your life, no matter what you're doing. I'm kind of doing it with my running and my health and my ability and just my mental health and all this stuff. I've been really trying to push myself to do better and to really be the best version of myself, and to take it back to the basics, and to continuously learn, and not to skip steps, not to just go from A to C, but to A to B to C, because there is a step, there is a process to get there, but you have to start where you don't know anything, and no matter how basic you think the thing may be, like I said, remember that one time you didn't know anything, and remember that no matter how basic it is, there's always ways to make it not basic, and always ways to improve on it and to really advance it. So everything isn't just as simple as A, B, and C's, but everything isn't as difficult as A, B's, and C's as well. So I think the whole point of life and of everything is to try to find that perfect balance, guys, within that ABCs. Try to, one, challenge yourself with those, with always advancing and getting better and better and better, because you don't want to be stagnant where you just know the simplest of the things and that's all you need to know, and you never expand yourself. That is not a good place to be. I think the perfect balance would be to continue to take that knowledge that you have of the ABCs and start challenging yourself a little bit. Like I said, there's different things you could do. Reading the alphabet backwards, figuring out what number is a letter. What's the 15th letter of the alphabet, or doing things divisible by not, or by 3, by 9, whatever the case may be. There's things to challenge yourself within it. And I'm not saying this literally go out there and do numbers and letters and get better at them. I mean, if that's what your passion is to go out there with letters and numbers, maybe you're a mathematician, maybe you love literature. I don't know what the case may be. Maybe you just love fundamental things. If that's what you want to do, letters and numbers, do it. But this is more of a metaphor for whatever it is you are doing within your life. No matter how good and no matter how much you think you understand it, and how much you think you have control over it, realize that there's things that are still a little bit more advanced that you can do with it, that if you put your mind to it, you can really push yourself to get even more advanced. Even though you think you know everything, there's more always to learn about whatever the case may be. And to always remember, at one point, you never even understood the things that you know now. So just remember, it's always steps. And right now you are here in this step. Maybe, you understand it, but remember, at one point you didn't. And remember that just because you understand it now doesn't mean that there isn't even more to understand about it. So for your daily discipline, it is to kind of take that metaphor of 1, 2, 3, ABC, something as simple as that. Really think about something in your life that you really have down, that you've really you think you've understood. For me right now, it's running. I understand it. I got it down. I've gotten down my stretching and all these routines and stuff where I feel like I'm very comfortable with what I'm doing. So find something like that and get comfortable with it, and understand that you're comfortable with it. But realize that just because you're comfortable with it doesn't mean that there's not room for improvement, that there's more things that you can learn. And that's something that I have understood with my running, is that just because I have been comfortable and I am doing good and the process is working how I like it, there's still more and more things that I can learn and I can continue to push myself towards. And that's what I'm going to do, is continue to try to advance myself and not just stay where I'm at. And to actually look back and think, to a couple of years ago when I wasn't running at all, when I was barely walking, just sitting on couch, going to work, and, getting the bare minimum of everything I can get done in a day. Now my life is different. It's good to kind of look back and think about the times when you didn't have it, to where you're at now and to where you can be in the future if you just are humble enough to understand and tell yourself, to lose the ego, I guess it was a better way to say it, lose your ego of how confident you can be of of what you're doing and realize that just because you are good at it and you are a professional, there's still always going to be room for improvement. So that is your daily discipline for the day. It is to think about that in whatever aspect you are doing within your life. Mine is running. Maybe yours is a business. Maybe yours is a diet. Whatever the case may be, there is something within your life that you are doing. Think about it within that aspect of where you had no understanding of it at all before, to where you have an understanding now, to understanding that there is even more room for improvement. So other than that, guys, I want to thank you so much for listening to the Defining Discipline podcast. I am your host, Scott. This was episode 123. We're going to continue to do this. We will eventually have some guests on. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or anything, just shoot us an email, a comment, whatever, a message on whatever platform you guys prefer. We will respond as soon as possible. I do want to thank you again so much for listening. If you guys can, please give us a like, a subscribe, a share, and a follow on our YouTube, our Facebook, our Instagram, and whatever podcast streaming platform you guys have been listening on. We're going to just continue to pump out these episodes, continue to pump out the miles. You guys will be able to follow along on the journey. We will be implementing some guests here real soon, and a few other things that I have been and am excited about. We will be talking about in a couple future episodes. So other than that, thank you so much for listening. Stay disciplined. Make sure you get your daily discipline done for the day. This was, again, episode 123, ABCs. Stay disciplined, guys. I'm your host, Scott. This is the Defining Discipline podcast, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow for episode 124. Peace out.